Guys, before we start today's video, a little word from our sponsor, me. As you guys know, I've set up affiliate links and stuff down below. I basically have set my channel up so that you guys purchasing things at no additional cost to you sponsors the channel. So if you guys are purchasing any of the items you see on the channel, please take a look at the affiliate links down below for other things. Tools, knives, stones. I even have a Blade HQ affiliate link, Coffee Brand Coffee, and a VPN. So guys, without any further ado, here comes that studio intro. Guys, what are we looking at this morning? Well, we are looking at the Ganzo Adimanti, and I'm pleasantly surprised at how much I like this knife. Did first impressions not too long ago. It didn't take me long to get through this knife. I carried it a good bit, and I used it a lot, and it's pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and turn it around and take a look at it from above. But first, you guys turn down that volume because, as you know, here comes a little bit of music. Let's go ahead and get into this. This is that Ganzo Adimanti. Now, I did mispronounce the designer's name. It's Skimmin. So I apologize for that. But this is a Ganzo Adimanti. And you guys know we had the Firebird FH921 on. I really liked it, but I like this one better for a couple of reasons, and we'll get into it. But first, we're going to head and put the spec sheet over here. Let's get that out of the way. So off here to the right, you're going to see the spec sheet of what I could find. And then let's go ahead, and we're going to get some actual specs, a couple of them. We're going to get the blade stock thickness and the behind the edge thickness and some weight. So let's go ahead and get those items out of the way. We'll do the blade stock and edge thickness first, and then do the weight. So let me go ahead and get those things out and set up. So let's look at the blade stock thickness first. Let's go ahead and get that. So you're looking at 0.139, so it's probably 0.14, because in the process of blade finishing, even though the blade stock thickness was set, a lot of times blade stock thickness gets changed during the finishing process. Let's look at the behind the edge thickness a little bit here. You are looking at 0.020 right behind the edge. So let's go ahead and do this one again. You're looking at 0.14. I was like, let me get a little further back. You're looking at 0.14 on blade stock thickness. So not a really thick blade, not a very thick behind the edge, and it does cut really well with that nice behind the edge geometry. So let's go ahead and grab the scale and do some weight and see what the weight looks like. All right, guys, let's take a quick look at this weight on this. Let's do ounces first because that's what came up first. 4¼ ounces, not super heavy for a steel liner lock. In grams, for those of you that don't use Freedom units, you are looking at about 119 grams on this knife. It's not a real heavy knife, even though it is a steel frame lock. So let's go ahead and get the scale out of the way and talk about the knife now that we've got the specs out of the way. All right, so this, like I said, this came in from Jared, and I decided to give it a shot. The Ganzo knives were things that I kind of skirted away from, but now that they've kind of changed their business practices, we've talked about all that before. So this is a really nice knife done in D2 steel. You're looking at a steel frame lock with a steel liner on this side, G10 top scale. There is a bunch of weight reduction in it. Now, you guys saw the specs. I like a lot of things about this knife. This blade shape is really, really good. I like this blade shape better than that the Firebird because this is a better for me because it has a longer flat and a lot less belly. Don't get me wrong, that Firebird 921 was really nice, but this is more of a blade shape I would like, and it does still have a little bit of that low spot here. that you can get up in on that I liked on that 921, but not as pronounced. So it's not as, it doesn't lock you in. You don't feel as restricted in grip as you did on that other one, but still a nice little feature because I have started to really like that because I can really power down on it. Blade is done in a nice drop point with bi-directional satin. You have your satin from your grind here. You've got a nice finish there. And then this pretty well done swedge. It is a little bit off from side to side, as you can see, which causes a little bit of an asymmetrical appearance to the tip, but the edge is pretty consistent when you look at it from above. This thing is really sharp, and with that thin edge profile that we looked at, that 0.020 behind the edge thickness, it slices really well for what looks like a pretty robust blade. So it does come down nice and thin. The action on this is just shy of drop shot. I'm really surprised that this knife is as smooth as it is at the price point, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Pocket clip is a extremely deep carry pocket clip, and I mean, it's all the way to the end, but it is done in a fashion where this is not so high profile, and in hand, where I'm going to grip it, I don't have a big, tall pocket clip, so it's pretty comfortable. They did do a hidden lanyard hole, so the lanyard hole is actually inside of the backspacer like that. Nice backspacer, by the way. So I am a fan of that. If you want a lanyard hole, this gives everybody what they want. You don't have anything that's detracting from the look of the knife. There's no holes. There's no anything there that detracts from, but you still have that option if you want a lanyard. And you have a glass breaker on this, which is what holds this in. I'm not such a fan of that because if you don't want the glass breaker, you really are stuck. There's several knives that do that. The Microtech, Ultratechs do that. And I don't necessarily want the glass breaker. I would prefer that this was squared off. But in this, you have no option. At least the nice thing is this glass breaker is not sharp. So, I mean, could you come up with an option? Maybe you could put a screw in it if you found the right thread pattern. It's probably 2 and 56 thread pattern. But the fact is that you are pretty much stuck with that. That's what holds your backspacer or your pocket clip in. And I feel like they missed a chance because if you have something like this that's so modular, you could have flipped this around. There is only one other touchy point on this knife for me. I'm not a fan of the jimping on the flipper tab. It's not horrible, but if you've got sensitive hands or if you don't have like calluses built up on your hands like I do, that might be a little aggressive. But the fact is you could easily get someone to, if you can't do it yourself, you could get somebody to touch that on a Scotch-Brite wheel and just knock the sharp points off, because it's not this part of it that's sharp. It's the corners where they come up to that chamfer. You could easily just round that over, still have a little bit of jimping, but not have it be as aggressive on the fingers. Or you could use a Dremel or something like that, but you got to be careful. You don't want to get down and make any contact with that lock bar, the lock face, I mean. So lockup on it is not too bad. I have not taken this apart yet, but I'm 99% sure that that is a ceramic detent ball. And given the smoothness of it, I would say that's probably correct. There are not a lot of frills on this, but it is still an attractive knife. It looks a lot like a yellowfin tuna. I think I said that in the original intro. And it gives it a really nice look, but it's also really functional. I did a lot of cut tests with this knife. I was cutting some cardboard tubes. This performed about as well as any of the other knives. It did not perform as well as the Firebird FH921, which is just thinner behind the edge. But in the big scope of things, I can give up a little bit on that because I really like this blade shape. And like I said, you've got a good finish on the steel liner. And steel is a cheaper material than titanium. And they even gave you a hardened lock bar insert. I looked into it later. There is a lock bar insert on this because this is not as hard a steel. This is not a hardened steel, so it's a cheaper steel. But with the steel lock bar insert, just like in titanium, you've got a good lockup surface. There is no stick. There is no blade play. There is nothing in this. It's locked up really tight. Some of these budget knives, Sometimes you have to worry about this. And this is definitely a budget knife, guys. This is coming in on Amazon. I'm going to put an affiliate link down below. $29 on this. I think it was $29.70 or something like that. It varies from day to day sometimes on Amazon, but it is under $30 for the knife, and then plus whatever shipping and stuff. And it's not unattractive. This is a very good budget offering, budget cutter, and it does cut really well. I did not have to resharpen this knife. This is still the factory edge that was on it, and I didn't get it cleaned up too good, but I did a bunch of cutting with it and cleaned it up before this, and it has held up incredibly well. The edge on it, I'm not gonna lie, for a budget knife, that's a really good edge. This is one of the few budget knives that came in with a factory edge on it that I would not immediately peel off. I've had much more expensive knives that I immediately put on a stone because I don't like the factory edge. Not the case on this one. It came stupid sharp. So yeah, guys, at $29, I don't think you could really go wrong. Oh, another thing, they did a really good job on this. When you're talking about comfort and ease of use, I always forget to mention this. This is one of those things that I really love when it's done well, and the Firebird, they did it as well. This is scalloped out nice and deep, and then this is cut out a little bit. It's a fairly thin knife, and I have really big hands, but I don't have any problem accessing the lock bar. I do have a knife in my pocket that I have had issues with because it is really narrow, and it doesn't. This knife, as much as I love this knife, is not as easy to unlock as this one because just the design of that right there. So yeah, guys, I mean, this is a win. This is a really good knife. I didn't look to see if it comes in other colors, but I would imagine it did because it's G10, so there's probably some offerings. And like I said, I will put a link to this down below. So the Ganzo Adimanti, really nice knife at under $30. It's up there with that QSP Penguin and some of the other really good budget offerings. I am so glad that I gave this knife a chance because it, at $29, is a very, very good option. And like I said, look at that. You get this bi-directional satin on it. It's just an attractive knife for a budget knife. So I know, I just keep going and going, but I really like the knife and I'm kind of passionate about these things. So let's turn it around and do some final thoughts and send you out about your day. So yeah, guys, like I said at the table, I did enjoy carrying this and its cousin, that Firebird, with the green G10. I really can't say anything too much bad about this knife. I'm especially at the price point. You guys saw the price; it's insane. So yeah, pretty happy that I gave these knives a shot because they are offering some pretty good budget stuff. Guys, that's it on this one. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. It's a metric I use to see what you guys do and don't like. But if you do dislike the video, just drop a message telling me why. Constructive criticism is always great. I can't change that content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. If you do hit that bell icon, make sure that you have notifications turned on your device or you won't get notified of the 2, sometimes 3 things that go up Monday through Friday. Other ways you can support the channel if you want to do it financially. As you saw at the beginning, I am sponsoring my own videos with a bunch of stuff, but let's go ahead and go through them. I have a membership down below that gets you in on tier-based benefits. Pick the tier that suits you best. But remember, everyone gets $5 off of my sharpening service, and everyone has access to the Gilded server where I do the member giveaways. I don't do them here. The member giveaways are done on the Gilded server. Other ways you can do it, like I said, the affiliate link's down below. Anything you purchase, it supports the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And I have a merchandise store, an Ember shirt coat, where you can pick up some of my merchandise at a discount with my coupon code CrazySharp. All one word, capital C, capital S. CrazySharp saves you 10% at checkout. And if you send me pictures of you wearing my merchandise, I will put them in the videos. Guys, I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.